Hi boys and girls, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over 4.4a, that's our TEK, which is to add and subtract whole numbers and decimals to the hundredths place using the standard algorithm. Now, in class we haven't gone over decimals, so don't worry about that. It's all about whole numbers. It will incorporate addition and subtraction. As always guys, you can have your criteria for success at the bottom. Hoy vamos a estar trabajando en una historia donde tenemos que sumar o donde tenemos que restar, y aquí están tus pasos para poder resolver el problema. So without a doubt, boys and girls, let's go ahead and get started. The list shows the numbers of visitors who arrived and the number of visitors who left a science museum for the first 3 hours after it opened one day. In the first hour, 294 visitors arrived. In the second hour, 408 visitors arrived and 89 visitors left. In the third hour, 313 visitors arrived and 175 visitors left. The question wants to know how many visitors were in the Science Museum after the third hour. So it's a lot of people are coming, people are leaving, right? So what's happening? So en la historia estamos hablando sobre cómo gente está llegando al museo y gente se está yendo. So tienes que pensarlo en términos de matemáticas, ¿verdad? Cuando alguien llega, está sumando a esa gente. La gente está sumando al problema. Y cuando la gente se va, está restando, right? So that's what's happening, guys. People are arriving. We have to use that vocabulary clue. We're adding. And when the people leave, we're subtracting them. So now it's a good time to talk about the criteria for success. Reading twice, guys, and highlighting. Especially with word problems, you have to be able to read carefully, find out what the story is giving you, what do they want you to find. So leer y subrayar. Identify parts and totals, boys and girls. Sometimes they'll give you a lot of parts. Sometimes they'll give you the one total, right? As we talked in class, you can have multiple parts, but you'll always only have one total. So identifica tus partes y tu total. Also, boys and girls, as you heard me talk about in just a few seconds ago, vocabulary clues. Pistas de vocabulario. And that vocabulary clue, guys, is when people arrive, you're adding, right? And when people leave, you're subtracting them. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight what was important. The list shows the number of visitors who arrived and the number of visitors who left. So adding and subtracting. The Science Museum the first 3 hours after it opened. In the first hour, 209 visitors arrived, which means we're going to add them, right? It's an addition number. And then in the second hour, 408 visitors arrived. Okay, so we're going to add more people. But then 89 visitors left. So those visitors that left will be subtracted. Notice how I'm writing my plus and my minus sign, guys. In the third hour, 313 visitors arrived. Think about it. Is that adding or subtracting? Arrived, that's adding. And then 175 visitors left. So we're going to end up subtracting those as well. So the question, as always, guys, very important. How many visitors in the Science Museum after the third hour, right? So we have to figure out how many were left after all of this happened. So I already did step one. I already read twice, already highlighted. Now I'm going to identify my parts and totals, which I already did. We have no totals yet. We have a bunch of parts that have to be added or subtracted. Ya identificamos nuestras partes. Tenemos varias partes, pero no tenemos ningún total todavía. And the clues were how visitors arrived, we were adding, and how visitors left, and we were subtracting. So there's so many ways to go around this, boys and girls. Like we talked in class before, there's so many ways to solve when it comes to math problems. I can solve it one way, you guys can solve it a different way. It's just how and where you want to start. For me, I'm gonna start in chronological order. I'm gonna start the same way the story started, which means that in the first hour, I had 294 visitors who arrived, so I have them. Then in the second hour, 408 visitors arrived. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add those two. So this is in the first hour, right? So identifying what we have, this is in the first hour. I'm going to go ahead and add them up. And let me see what I get. Just like we talked in class, guys, we're going to start with the greater number. 8 plus 4 is going to give me 12. I'm going to carry the 1. 9 plus 1 is going to be 10. This is a skill that we need to know, guys, carrying the 1. Going back to the very first video where we talked about carrying that 10. And then we have 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is going to give us 7. I have 702 people. Is that my final answer? No, because more people arrived and some people left. So I'm here right now. I'm at the 408, but then 89 visitors left. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my 702 and I'm going to subtract my 89. So remember, we're just in the second hour. There's still a third hour. Now I'm going to subtract. This is a skill, guys, that we've been talking about in class. We start at the top, going towards the bottom. Big number on top, small number at the bottom. 2 minus 9. The misconception is the students want to put 7. It's not 7, guys. If you have 2, you cannot take away 9. So what do we have to do? We have to borrow from the neighbor. But what happens when the neighbor's a 0? We got to go to the 7, right? So 7 is going to turn into a 6. The neighbor's going to turn into a 10. He doesn't need it. He's going to turn into a 9. And the ones is going to be now a 12. Now 12 minus 9, I can do that. The way I like to do it, guys, is I like to count up. So I'm already at 9. I'm going to stop at 12. After 9, I got 10, 11, 12. That's going to be 3. 9 minus 8, that's easy, 1. And 6 minus nothing, that's 6. So 613 people left after the second hour. Is that my final answer? No, I still have the third hour to go. So in the third hour, what else happened? More people arrived. So what am I going to do? Am I going to add or subtract? I'm going to add. So I have 613 now. I have 613, and I'm going to add them with 313 people that arrived. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. I got 6. I got 2. And I got 9. 926. Is that my final answer? No, one more thing happened. What else happened? Some people left. So I'm on the last part of the story. I have 926 and 175 people left. So I'm going to subtract. Remember, big number on top, guys. That is standard algorithm. 6 minus 5. Can I do that? If I have 6 and I take away 5, yes. And I'm left with 1. 2 minus 7. Is that 5? No, that's the misconception, right? We got to borrow. 9 turns into 8. And 2 turns into 12. And now I want to count up. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is 5. And 8 minus 1, that is 7. So did any more people arrive? Did any more people leave? No, that's it. So how many people were left after the third hour? 751 people were left after the third hour. So a lot of adding, a lot of subtracting, boys and girls. That's exactly what the TEK is talking about, adding and subtracting and using those keywords. There's so many different ways to solve this, boys and girls. It's just up to you, right? But reading is going to be very important. Reading the problem, using those clues in the vocabulary words, right? Next time it might not say arrived. It might say something else. It might not say left. It might say something else that means subtracting, right? So you got to pay attention to that reading in every single one of these word problems. Okay, boys and girls, until next time, I'll see you. Bye.